Hey, good morning everyone. Hope you guys are having a great week. I'm not sure when you're going to see this, but we're starting a brand new project. This one is super special. As you guys know, that Ryan, our son, has been carving signs for a few years, but now he's not really doing much in signs. He's running his other businesses. He has a partial ownership in a tractor repair business, but his real passion is firearm training. And he has his own company, which is PDS. And being as he is no longer making signs, I'm going to make a sign for him as a surprise. So you guys won't see this until after Ryan has seen this sign. So what I want to do is, baby, if you can pan down here, we've got a really cool piece of cedar. Sorry about my voice there. Really cool piece of cedar that we got from Ron Ostman. And this is over 2 inches thick. Can you tilt it up a little? Yeah, and we have we've trimmed off the ends a little bit, and Vicky is going to the next thing you'll see, Vicky is doing the edges, kind of sand down the edges, and then I am going to we'll do the layout and we'll carve his logo on this thing, and I think it's going to be pretty cool. He's got a really cool logo. He had somebody create that for him. So personal defense system, he teaches firearm training, mostly handguns, but also long guns, and does group classes, CCW classes over in California. And anyway, super proud of him. He's just, that is his real passion. Signs are my passion, and that is his passion. So I'm super excited for him, and he needs a good sign, and so I'm going to take care of that for him. So anyway, stick with us and we'll move on to the next step. Hey guys, all right, we're going to start carving, but before we do that, off camera, Vicky went and did all the edges, so they came out really, really nice. Just got some of those worm trails in there, which I really like. Got some spalting going on here, and everything was good until I made a huge blunder. I coated this with some of the clear to keep this black and red from coming off, and I set it out in the sun for a half hour, which was a huge mistake. If you noticed, I've got Starbond. What I did was it cracked open, and there was 0 cracks when I set it out in the sun. It literally was only out there for like a half hour, but it cracked in a lot of different places. Matter of fact, when I realized it and brought it in, I could actually feel it and hear it cracking as it was as I set it on the bench. Anyway, so what I've done is I've filled all the cracks with the Starbond medium, and now I need to sand those down. So there was cracks on both sides. So I'm going to and here's the thing is, it won't matter too much, because what I'm kind of giving it away here, but what I'm planning is that I'm planning on making this much like my studio sign, my logo sign. I'm going to do a lot of power carving on here because I like that thickness. So anyway, we're just going to sand this off smooth so our base plate will ride on there. So I'll just do this area here, and I'm just using, this is a 120 on here. I think you were using this. Yeah, this is just a 120 on here, and I just want to sand that smooth. That's actually as smooth as it needs to be, because again, this is all going to be cut away. I'm going to power carve. So I'll do the other few spots that I've got. I'll get them down smooth so my base plate rides smooth on there. Then we'll come back and we'll carve. All right, so as always, I always keep a copy of what the logo is going to look like. I keep that next to me when I'm carving in case I have any questions on that. So I'll set that aside. We are going to start with these little letters. Everything's going to be outset, guys. Normally, if it's black, I would make those inset, but because I want to do relief carving all the way around, everything's going to be outset. So these are little 3/4 inch letters, and because of that, I am using my carving liner, and I've got it set to about a little less than 1/8, I think. Yeah, almost 1/8 of an inch, and I'm not sure if that's going to be right, but we'll find out here in a second. Here we go. All right, guys, so that is that's the first part of it. I'll finish the rest of these little letters up off camera, and I think I need to go and kind of straighten those up a little bit. A couple of those are a little squirrely. This is a little bit of a grainy board, and remember, guys, I could have possibly done this with the profile bit. I may go back and well, I definitely am going to go back with the profile bit and maybe clean up some of those lines a little bit. As good as the carving liner bit is, it'll never cut as good as a profile bit does because it's single fluted as compared to two fluted. Anyway, so I'm going to finish these up and then we're going to come back. Alright guys, so after that last scene, I realized I didn't really need to use the carving liner except in one spot is on these S's. They're really tight in there. So I did all of these letters with the profile bit except for with the carving liner. I worked on those S's, those other three S's, and then I went back with the profile bit and I recut this, and I like it much better. You can hold a much better line with the profile bit than with the carving liner when you're going to some depth. And again, these are about 1/8 of an inch deep. So now I've got the profile bit in, and I am going to do my buffer zone around all these letters at about 1/4 of an inch. All right, let's get after it. Now, I'll go ahead and do these other letters off camera and we'll come back for the next step. Hey, we are back, and I am like chomping at the bit to get to this thing. So let me explain what I did on off camera after you guys saw that last scene. So if you go down in here and look at these letters, again, I went around everything with a profile bit, but what you guys saw was I went around here and I did my buffer zone around these letters. If you don't know what I'm talking about when I say buffer zone, I'll put what video that is across the screen. But I just did that video like a week or two ago. And the whole idea behind a buffer zone is just to loosely go around the outset letters so that when you go around with your background, you don't have to get so close to those outset letters. And that is the case like 99.9% of the time, that if you have a little ridge around these letters, it makes no difference at all. You guys probably remember my discussion with Mickey about that, and he was trying to get right up next to the letters with his cleanup bit, his background bit. So this is different than almost everything else that I do because there is going to be no black sprayed here, and I am going to power carve all of this stuff. So I don't really want that ridge around those letters. Normally that ridge being there, no problem at all. So what I did, if you look close, you can see, especially this compared to the last scene, that I got really close to those letters. I took my time and got as close to those letters as I could, getting rid of those ridges, because this is all going to be reliefed, carved away, and there's not going to be any black sprayed, kind of like my shop sign, my logo shop sign behind my bench inside, and I'm going to power carve all of this. So That kind of goes against the whole idea of the buffer zone that that I was relating to you guys on that video, the buffer zone video. This is different than that. So I hope that makes sense. Next, we are going to I'm going to carve these big letters, and I'm going to use a different bit. I'm going to use a profile bit, but it's going to be a different one than I used for these letters, and let me explain why. We have a profile bit that is, let's see, which one is this? This is the regular profile bit. This is exactly the same bit that I used on these letters. But what I'm going to do on these big ones up here, because there's so much room, I'm going to use what I call a fat profile bit. This is just the same bit, but it's been ground probably 20 or 30 times. It cuts a much wider line, and let me show you. I'm going to demonstrate that right now. So I've got just a scrap piece here. These are both set, both of these bits are set at exactly 1/4 of an inch. So let me cut a line here. That is the regular profile bit. It's been ground a couple times, but not very many. This is a fat profile bit. Now, hopefully you can see the difference between those two. They're both set, like I say, at exactly 1/4 of an inch, but this one cuts much wider. Being as these big letters, I've got a lot of room around there, I'm going to cut these with the fat profile bit. I would not attempt to cut these size letters with a fat profile bit just because there's not enough room in there. So I hope that makes sense. So we are going to set up and get going here. We'll be right back. All right, guys, here we go. So I've got the fat profile bit set at 1/4 of an inch. Guys, so I just I wanted to point something out there. You saw as I was coming this way that I had to stop 2 or 3 times and blow the sawdust away because it was packing up on this side of the router. It was packing up over here and I had to blow it away. Then you saw I changed and I went down to this end and cut the other direction, and I had no problem at all because it was still packing up on, well, let's see, would be your right side of the hole, my left side of the hole. So that's just something that you'll pick up over a period of time. If it doesn't work one way, try the opposite way. But that may be, and it has to do with the rotation of the motor, the router motor. So now I got to go clean that line up a little bit. So I've got one little piece here. I got to finish this bullet, and then we'll move on. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and set this back to 1/4 of an inch now. Yeah. Here we go. Alright guys, that's all the detail. So we'll come back and move on to the next step. Alright guys, well, you know what? We've got a lot of footage that I've got to do some editing. This is going to be the end of the first video on this. Hopefully we can get the rest of it, get it wrapped up on one more video. So I'm loving the way it's coming out so far. I've got a long ways to go, but so far I'm really happy with it. So we will see you on the next video. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, please email me directly, eric@makeawoodsign.com. If you need supplies, there's the website. Thanks for watching, guys. We love you. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.